What up, my geeks? Jeffrey Powers here, and today we've got another Wirecast tutorial. Let me show you something. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. How am I doing this? I'm using the NDI, Newtek NDI protocol to send video out into another Wirecast or another device. I'm going to show you how we're doing it and what you can do with this, and we're going to do that next on this version of Wirecast tutorial using NDI to send video out. And so my name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching. You can find me over at Geekazine, Think Magazine, put in the geek. And of course, you can also find me just, Geekazine. That's it. Facebook.com, Geekazine, Twitter.com, Geekazine. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell for the notifications, so the next video comes up and you say, "Hey, there it is, the next video. I want to be part of that." So, and of course, check out everything over at geekazine.com. I'm gonna rock it. Geekazine's gonna all I want to do. Anyway, so today we're gonna be talking about this Wirecast, the beautiful program. You can get Wirecast here over at geekazine.com/Wirecast, geekazine.com/Wirecast. And of course, it's a great program if you're really learning, like this is the program right here. If you really want to do some switching back and forth, you want to do some great lower graphics and stuff like that, but also if you want to do this camera 1, camera 2, as you can see, there's a little bit of latency, not too much, which is really cool. And it's all over a network, so we'll talk about all that. First of all, and of course, if you want to go patreon.com/Geekazine, that's a way, or paypal.me/Jeff Powers, paypal.me/Jeff Powers. In 7.6, I showed you how to bring in characters through Character Animator and other sources that used NDI. Now, with 7.7, and of course, you need to have Wirecast Pro. This is a Pro feature. This is not a regular feature. So if you have Wirecast Pro, you'll be able to actually send it out, send video out. What does that mean? That means you can actually send it to another Wirecast or another program that receives NDI, maybe a video capture system to record it, maybe another monitor, in which I'll show you how to do that as well. But right now, here's what I got for my setup. I'm going to expand my room. You're going to see a little bit of it. Of course, the main camera there, and then over here I have my MacBook Pro set up with a GoPro here, and that's what this camera is right here, is the GoPro that is running this video. So and then of course the main one right here. All right, it's actually very straightforward to do. I'm going to show you how to do it. Here's your Wirecast. You want to start your NDI, you go up to output, you go down to NDI output, you're given all these options. What type of canvas? Right now it says match canvas. Because I'm streaming, everything's grayed out. But I can change that to, when it's not grayed out, I can change it to 720p, 30, all the way up to 1080p, 60 frames a second. Can that happen? Is that true? Yeah, I guess so. And once I'm ready, then I hit this start button. And what it'll do is it'll send out a signal over the network, letting people know that it, or sending out the signal. So when I go to look for it, it is in my Wirecast. Now, to receive it, here is what you do. Go down, you basically hit a plus button. Let's expand this here. You hit the plus button. We'll just go up here, and we'll say capture device, and we'll find, in this case, it's my MacBook Pro. And then you just hit that, and poof, there it is right there. And as you can see, I'm doing 720p over the network, and I'll talk about that in a second. So it's going to have a bounding box. It's going to look like this. So you basically have to go into the edit and fix it. So it will allow you to go full screen. So in the end result being this right here, a full screen, technically 720p, but of course expanded to full screen, so you can see it in the 1080p that's there. So here it's great because, like I said, you can bring in remote. I could have, as long as I'm on the same network, I could have 2 stations set up. and one station, because I do a lot of music tech, so I'll have one station set up so I could actually be playing guitar, but then it would actually push over to this one, and then this one, the second station, which is the main desktop, could then push that out to the web, while the first machine is recording and sending out via NDI. So now I've got two computers actually working their magic and going from there. And like I said, if I get other programs that use NDI sourcing, then I could import that in. Now, I tried to do it in Premiere Pro. I wasn't able to do it totally, but I'm guessing that I just got to figure out how it works. But I bet you I can bring it in so I can actually be recording into Premiere Pro and then doing the stream from another source. So that's pretty cool. So I'd have one machine completely dedicated to that. Now, here's the big factor, and that is the network. Now, I have my MacBook Pro hooked up through a wire. You can go wireless, but it might cause problems because it really depends on what your router is like. But I highly recommend you get a good router and you wire everything. So I wire this to the router, and my desktop's wired to the router. So there's just no issue of wireless skipping or anything like that. Or if my cameras in the living room or the security cameras outside start pushing data, then yeah, I'm not getting stopped through that wireless signal as they're trying to take up some of the wireless signal, and it becomes a mess. So hook it up, wire it up, and you're good to go. That is, of course, always the case with Wirecast. You always want to have a wired connection in and out to your sources because it makes life a lot easier. Trust me. In fact, right before when I started this, I did that. I had my MacBook Pro on wireless. I'm figuring, well, nobody's here right now, so I'll just plug it in or not plug it in and see what happens. And of course, it froze up. So now this can do some other cool stuff. Now imagine if you have an older computer and you just want to maybe show it in the other room. Maybe your kids want to watch you do your stream or whatever. So what we can do is we can go into, and I'm going to pull this up when you download the NDI tools and you go into Newtek NDI tools, you'll have a thing called Video Monitor. Let me bring it here, and I think this froze this last time, so hopefully this is not going to freeze this camera here as I do this. But we'll go in here. It says it's connecting. I'm going to right click on it, and it says I want to do the MacBook. I'll disconnect it, and then I'll do the MacBook Wirecast, and it's connecting. So it's having a problem. There we go. This can then go onto your monitor. Let's full screen that. So this is like your monitor, maybe in the other room. Maybe I do some live streams where I do full rooms with people watching, and some of them have pretty much asked if they could have a way to actually see the front of the room a little bit better. This does that. This helps me send the signal so they can actually watch through their computers rather than look at the presenter itself. But it's really cool because you could have a room full of people. You could be doing a Wirecast session in a hall and then put it up on a big screen if the hall's too big, so they can see the presenter and see the presentation. Because once again, you're seeing more than just this. That was on my second screen here. I'm going to close that out. So that was on this screen right here, which is paused. But you see where that comes from, that ultimately will lead to. That'll lead to more ability through your system to project and send out video while you're doing it, while you're recording it. And, because then you can have a monitor in the other room. If you've got, let's say you've got somebody on camera that doesn't control from the desk through Wirecast, and you're controlling it, and you can control in another room. You could literally have a monitor up here from a computer that's pushing this through. Now, with that said, there is one factor you have to be concerned about, and that is how it video outs. And let me explain. Think of it like a streaming service. Whenever you send a signal, it sends it in packets. And when two sources ask for that signal, it's got to send those packets twice. It's pushing this. It can't split the packets and send it like a cable or anything like that. It's sending packets to here. So the more monitors you have set up, the more NDI devices you have set up to here, the more that the source, which in this case would be the MacBook Pro, would have to send the signal. So you don't want to overload it, but you can do some really cool things, such as maybe one or two computers that's running a video, and then of course sending signal from here to here, things like that. Don't complicate it, but you'll have to really think about it. And if you do have to complicate it, then turn this around and go into your settings and go to your output, your NDI output, and change the resolution. It's okay if you go 720 30 frames a second. You can upscale a little bit. It's okay if you go 480 30. You can upscale it. Only upscale it to 720. But if you're sending it out to YouTube at 720 or at 1080, it will look fine. I mean, this is 720p sent to the computer. So, and it looks pretty decent, right? So that's basically it, and it's really straightforward to do. Now, once again, we're gonna tell you the features, and of course, if you want to get Wirecast and you want to get Wirecast Pro, go over to geekazine.com/Wirecast. That does help me keep the lights on here. So, geekazine.com/Wirecast. So basically, what you do is all you have to do is set up the NDI source. Once again, going up to your output, NDI output, and hitting start, just like you did with the any of the other start stopping. You have to set the canvas size, but then once you do that, you're good to go. And then when you're here and if you're capturing through to Wirecast, or let's say you're using another source, maybe you're not using Wirecast on this thing, maybe there's another device that does NDI out. All you have to do is hit the plus button, capture devices. It'll show up as a capture device, and you're good to go. You just make your adjustments, you just make your fixes, and here you are, making video. I over-explained it. Maybe I mansplained it. Maybe I geek-splained it. I think I geek-splained it. That's the best term. So we've got a couple people on the chat here. Thank you very much for coming on the chat. We'll talk to you in a minute here. But first of all, I want to wrap this up. My name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching. And of course, you can find me anywhere on Twitter, on Facebook, and all the other socials. And you've been watching a Wirecast tutorial using NDI to send video out to another source. Thanks a lot for watching. You guys geek out, or should I say, you guys geek out and take care.